We're taking up the evening session now. So it's mostly about Harmony OS introduction. So I'd expect majority of you have the conversation here, discussions, and try to understand more about what is the scope of Harmony OS here. I think the next week also a few of the trainings or discussions I'll conduct. Based on this, we'll have a lot of hands-on going on. So I hope this is a starting, and let's have a pretty good session. I think let's start off. Before beginning for the definition introduction of Harmony OS, let me give a little bit of orientation about how Harmony OS was planned and based on what criteria it's been done. So the first and foremost one is to have the harmonious ecosystem between the devices. That's the core idea behind Harmony OS. So how the devices can communicate with each other to give the best of ecosystem experience to the end user. So let's begin with that. So my name is Sharath and I'm part of the Harmony OS development team. You can find me with this address for anything further queries. I'm also part of Slack channels of Applet group. So you can always find me through official mail. So today we will only discuss very few topics, but each of the ones will be more interesting and entertaining. Let's see how we take it further. It's also your participation that will make this session more interesting and more successful. Right. So let's begin with that. So the whole idea is to give us what is the experience and ecosystem. So we use this all scenarios, this exact statement, multiple places. So we will understand what is this all scenario and what is this ecosystem that we are talking. So this is one forecast or that is available with us based on the data source that is shown here. If you see most of the IoT devices, that is Internet of Things, that each of us might possess already, will reach a target of around 75 billion. So it's a huge number when we see in that way. But based on our population, and if you see this statistic, how many devices each of us own, it seems to be more fair. We can count the devices that we are having. One is our phone, our smart bands, our smart watches, VR glasses, smart TVs. Some of us might use a car where it is a smart head unit might be there. So there are n number of things that we are already using. Maybe if not on an average, at least 4 to 5, definitely we all might have already. So this is with respect to the number of apps that is available per device. So if you see, if I consider smartphone, there are more than 4 million applications that are available. Similar to that, I think this is the first one that came in. So we have a lot of ecosystem built, lot of libraries, applications. I think you heard more from Kamal Valluri. What are the importance of libraries? So majority are more focused on smartphone. Over a period of time, I think we will unite all these things and bring in a better ecosystem. So wearables has more than 20,000 and smart TVs, most of our OTTs, I think that should be one of the major thing from past 2 years, majority might be using where they were lockdown and they have to spend some time. So there are more than 10,000 plus. I think smart TV is a space that is growing faster than wearable with the pandemic going on. And the head unit, the corresponding applications have generated head unit to give a native experience in even in their phones. So this is a general statistics. What is the real picture right now? But what is the problem here? Let's see what is the real issue here. For developing each application, you can see there are different streams. How do I develop a smart TV OS application? So I have to have a separate source code. I should understand what is the OS, what is the platform that we are using, what is the UI logic, or how to transfer the data. So its complete stack has to be read, understood, and develop an application. That's how a smart OS works. The similar thing is a Wear OS that's been there. I think recently, if you had participated in Google I/O, there was a new OS also that was Wear OS was also unveiled in partnership with Google and Samsung. So that is also a separate OS. So to do applications and development on Tizen, so you should also understand how Tizen works, how the application development in Tizen works. The same thing applies to a car head unit. You would have heard with the name of Auto in many of the OS names. So this is how we have a complexity. Also, each device has a different screen size, screen type, resolution, interaction methods are different. So everything are a little bit different. So a developer has to understand different type of logic for developing different type of applications. So that's the challenge that we have. Let's see across all the IoT devices for how things are there. So bottom, you can see how many different types of IoT devices are there. Some of you can name, other than these that are listed, anything else that you feel are IoT devices?
I think Sharad, beacons you have missed.
Beacons, yeah, Bluetooth beacons. Anything else, guys?
House appliances.
Is more it's definitely an important thing, but more it might be most of the time beacons we consider as a communication entity rather than a smart IoT device. But still, we at one part it is there. Yeah. Someone was telling something. Yeah.
Yes, so what are beacons? I'm not aware of it.
Bluetooth beacons are something like one example I can give. There will be few apps where when you go to a mall, it will try to push you few information to your phones on runtime, right? You go near, for example, you are somewhere near KFC in a food court. So they will push some information that KFC has an offer. Buy a family meal, get another family meal free, which was not available, but when you go near, it is giving you this. So Bluetooth beacons are nothing but a Bluetooth entities, smart, you cannot call smart, but Bluetooth information sharing protocol. So by using beacons, you can transmit data in a very short distance. So if I plug, for example, mall is a very great example or a use case for this. You go near that place. So you would have heard about Nearby. Have you heard about Nearby in smartphones?
Sir, the coupon company.
No. Nearby is a feature in smartphone. Maybe if you have the smartphones, you can see this feature in your notifications or in your Bluetooth settings. So what this will do is whatever is nearby in this Bluetooth protocol based applications, so it can share the information. Let us take another example in a wider sense. Let us say how many people are vaccinated. So based on region, if somebody tries to establish a Bluetooth beacon, and we can identify, okay, which all areas are Bluetooth beaconed down. So this is much bigger scope. Let me make it much narrower. Let us think a parking system. I need to identify there is free slots in a mall. I think one of the simple use cases, right, that majority of us would have gone through. I don't have a parking space. So Bluetooth beacons can help to form this entire system to tell where the parking lot is free. Maybe it can emit the information where the parking slot is free. So it is sharing that information at that particular region. It can be any type of information. It can share through Bluetooth. That's how it is. So any other IoTs you guys can think? For me, I think anything can become an IoT. Maybe my lights can become an IoT device that can
medical
come here.
equipment.
Medical equipment's great. Yes.
Doorbell,
The sensors,
cameras.
Perfect. So
Sensors.
any
Home control.
sensors, yes. Home, you can, the moment home comes into picture, you have your refrigerator, you have your water filter, water purifier, fans, washing machines, everything can become IoT. But are they IoT right now?
Refrigerators, I think Samsung has launched some
refrigerators.
IoT based refrigerator, but other appliance.
So the air conditioners are IoT, I think.
Okay. So you would have seen so many ads coming, right? You be at home, you click something and you do the home adjustment, all the operations from home itself. And by the time you reach home, your AC is proper. Maybe you want it at 24 degrees. It is set the AC and you have the environment. I think we would have seen some of these fancy ads, right? How do you think this has been done? Can anybody give a small thought process on how it might have been done, this entire process?
Via the internet. So if the AC is also connected to the internet through some server, and then via our mobiles we send a request to that server. So through that we can send the request to the AC.
Okay, correct. I think the thought process is perfectly right. Let me give another example. Suppose you have a LG refrigerator and a Samsung air cooler. So can you use the same application to control both of them?
Yes, because they both operate on MQTT protocol, right?
Okay. But all the features, usually when a feature comes into picture in market, they provide a separate application for controlling them, right? They don't give a generic device, even though we have a lot of IR devices which can have similar things. You can download some IR remote. IR blaster is your phone, and you can generate all these commands using IR, and you can do. But over internet, very fixed ones are available, like on, off. Each company chooses to do different actions, different types of experience for the user. So they try to provide different applications based on their commodity. So LG might release a separate app and Samsung might give a separate app with different type of features. So that is where what comes into picture is there is no constant OS or a similar OS where all these devices can work on a same OS. That's the current limitation for end user. The end user, because the experience across each device is different, the experience, the usage of OS is different. If you would have definitely seen iOS and Android. If somebody who is so used to iOS devices, if they are asked to use Android, they will struggle for a few days. So multiply that with number of equipments and number of functionality of IoT, it is much more confusing for the end user to effectively make this. In the other way, these devices don't communicate with each other to give that complete experience for the end user. Let us take an example. Whenever you are using a speaker and a smart TV, from your phone, can you pair with both the devices at the same time? A smart TV and a speaker? And can the TV be paired with the speaker again in the same loop? Have you seen this kind of marriage between devices? I think you guys again slept. Guys, someone to come. Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking about what you are saying because I have not tried this, but
okay. No, it is a yes or no answer, whether you knew already or you don't know. It need not be we will see how we go further from there. If it is a no, it's a no. For example, usually how do we communicate with a smart TV with a phone? Usually we do a screencast. That also we have different protocols. How we do
Wi-Fi
mirror
direct
share.
or
Yeah, either we use a transport of Wi-Fi or some other protocol, Miracast or Chromecast, to transfer the image from our phone to a TV to have an interaction with the TV. But what happens? What are the limitations that you face immediately? The moment you cast your device to this, the resolution of the phone is picked to a device, smart TV, and you might not get the same. The same doesn't apply when you use Chromecast. Chromecast works a little bit different, but the limit, it has its own limitations again, Chromecast. A limited number of applications where in terms of screen sharing, you can share your entire screen to the TV itself. And the same thing applies to a Bluetooth speaker. So the moment you connect to a Bluetooth speaker, I cannot share my voice to the speaker and picture to the TV. That is where I'm coming to. So there is no connection between these two. So
so
this is, yeah.
so this is where we need operating system.
This is one of the basic reason why we coined a term called as 1+8+N architecture. So this is what Huawei has done in couple of years before, even when there was no HarmonyOS, this system was established, where we talk about, we will discuss that in detail in couple of slides, where there is one device that is a smart device, that is our phone, and we have N dedicated terminals to communicate, and there is N number of IoT devices from the vendors or any of them from the IoT system, which can work in the same ecosystem harmoniously. So that's what I'm trying to introduce you to. So let's see what is the main advantage from a developer perspective. For a developer, I have to think of the OS, I have to think of the UI platform, and I have to think of the experience that he gets, my use cases, my experiences that I can give to my customer becomes tenfold. You can do that combination n number of ways to give the best experience that user can come across, which is currently not available. People of same hardware, for example, the Samsung TV and a Blu-ray, if you take, and Samsung soundbar, if you take. So these three can have some kind of a thing, but not full extent, like how I said. There will be a pairing between the TV and a soundbar, or TV and a Blu-ray. So this is how usually one-on-one linkage will be there. Here we are talking about more than one or two devices getting along to give a better experience for the user. So let's see with this, let me introduce to the definition of HarmonyOS and we will discuss further. So HarmonyOS is a future-proof distributed system, operating system. There are many all-case scenario strategies. Well, these are the three contenders of HarmonyOS who gets benefited. For an end user, it integrates various smart devices. Here you can talk about IoT devices to implement fast connection, capability collaboration, and resource sharing among them. So this is one of the great things for an end user, where all his information can be accessed across. Where I have most of my photos are in my smartphone. So usually, as we discussed just now, I can cast it to a smart TV and it displays. How about I have my phone, I have my camera, a DSLR, and I have a TV. I want these three to communicate and do the same thing. So these kind of things add more value. Or I have another smartphone. From there, maybe my old smartphone. I recently upgraded to a high-end phone. So, but the content is still available in my old phone. Even though most of the things are available in cloud, I can access it faster without the internet here within the devices. That is the advantage of the communication between. So then we have for application developer, using distributed technology, they can do different device forms. The device can be a single device. Right now, a device is a single thing. Now you can extend up and make each device as a modular unit. So that is the advantage of for a application developer. For a device developer, so they can do lot of things. They can generate a lot of tailor-made devices to suit this ecosystem, where they can share the resource capabilities. The services that they can provide for the users are enormous. So this is just a straight through definition. You would have seen this in a number of places, and I would suggest when you are reading about HarmonyOS in the website, there also you will find this one. So with this, let us see one small video, and we will break in between to discuss. Sorry.
Sharad, do you have any audio? We cannot hear.
Or audio is not there?
No, we cannot hear audio.
No, Sharad.
Okay. 1 second. Maybe I need to do this. Just see if it is available. Now is it okay?
No, Sharad, still it is the same.
No?
No, no.
Now also you, oh,
I think I heard once. For a
Now?
flash of second.
no?
No.
Maybe you need to share with audio. Like sometimes it has happened with us, like in the
Hold on a
lecture.
second. Let me see. I think Wilfred, is there any setting? Just
No, I
see
think
this.
Sharad, maybe you stop.
Oh, yeah,
sharing.
yeah, yeah. I think
Share again.
I got it. I got it. I think share
Yeah,
sound.
you stop it and again share it.
Just see now it works. Working?
Harmony
Yes, yes.
Oh, let me make it.
Harmony OS is a future-proof, distributed, and smart operating system open to you as part of the initiatives for the all-scenario strategy. It will be able to run on 1+8+N devices in the future. For an end user, Harmony OS adopts a unified software system that delivers consistent, smooth, and secure experience across your smart devices. For a developer, Harmony OS adopts distributed technologies to integrate various smart devices into a super virtual device. Application developers can use this super virtual device to develop applications on different device forms, focusing on upper layer service logic without caring about device differences. Device developers can use the capabilities of multiple smart devices as needed and deliver a smooth experience through this super virtual device. As a whole new future-proof operating system, Harmony OS aims to play a vital role in a fully connected, intelligent world. We look forward to you joining the Harmony OS family and together with us, witnessing what an all-scenario smart ecosystem has to offer.
Okay. I think that was about. Anybody has doubts on this? I think this was vaguely very fast one with most information available. So when we talk about 1 plus 8 plus n, so this is our targeted 8 devices that are available, where we have a PC, there is a tablet, there is a wearable device, and you can see a smart TV, AI speakers, earphones, this is head unit. So all of them AR VR glasses. So these are the targeted one to provide the all scenario benefits that we have. So let's see that in the coming slides, how. Just a second. You guys can see, right? Still, I no.
No, we are seeing the Zoom screen.
Okay, okay.
We need to share your screen.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I hope now it should be okay. Okay, see, let's see this. We are trying to see how this super virtual device is possible and what are we talking about in that video. So the coming slides will give some use cases that you would have seen in your houses, but here it's a little bit advanced than what is the regular operating systems that we have in a fixed space. So let us see this one. Here we have a Harmony OS comparison for how we connect to a air purifier. So here we can see a air purifier is here. So what we are comparing here with a regular operating system. How do we do this one? I need to connect to a air purifier or a water filter. For me, all these use cases at home are similar. So first we power on the device and we start this corresponding application. Like I explained, whether it is Samsung or a LG application, you open, register the account based on the device that you have configured, and then make the device also have the Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth connection available. Start discovering it, connect with the device, and then set the password or any other configuration for it, and then do it. So it's a 6-step process, and usually we use Wi-Fi connection, and it takes around 16 seconds. Whereas in the one-hop solution in Harmony, we just tap onto the air purifier with an NFC tag on it. Here it does few things. First, it understands. I think NFC you would have heard. Near field communication. It might be used for pairing devices. This is already there in multiple devices, but here we go to the next level. Apart from understanding and pairing the device, we also identify which is the device, what is the configuration of the device, and what kind of setting it needs. So that's what it entire thing is done in one shot. The moment I tap, I know what is this device, and if I click this blue button, my configuration is completed. That's why it's a 3-step process in 3 seconds. Just 3 seconds, you can have the communication. That's the experience we have. And there is no user-specific application that you are going to download in your phone. So now we see another use case. Any more discussion on this topic? Let us go case by case, a little detail. If anybody has any terminologies or anything that I spoke is not clear, or you want to discuss more there.
I just want how is NFC different from Bluetooth? Or like are they
Okay.
same?
It's not the same. NFC communicates only with a limited range, maybe in it's 0.1 to 0.2 centimeters distance. So usually we call it as tap and pay. You would have used, you would have seen some, initially when Google Pay, Apple Pay, these people came into picture. It was on the base of NFC, where you go to a supermarket, instead of swiping your card, you will have a device with application where you tap on the device with NFC, where the receiver also is an NFC. So they both communicate and the transaction happens. Even in India, we have, but very few. I think, if I'm not wrong, 3 years back, we saw in India, Samsung launched it. It was not a big success because of the deployment issue. And there is a analysis done that Indians don't use NFC more. So, and we use more of other things like paying gateway system, maybe Razorpay, Paytm. So we preferred this ones over this, and the QR code thing became more. But the next generation devices that you will see, the sound bars that you would have seen in Sony or Samsung these days, for easy pairing, they do this NFC. So you can check it. This is one of the communication protocol that is there, and it has n number of implications for NFC.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If no more questions, we will go to the next slide and next use case. So here I'm going to give a little bit more on the same water purifier or air purifier. You can see that on the left side. The moment I do this, there is a dedicated set of services that comes up on the device, where user, all what I'm showing is not a dedicated application. It's more of a generic functionality that you can do, where you can report the faults. There you can understand what my filters of the purifier or air purifier, water purifier has. Should I buy the filter or should I do anything else? So then we can see any, first and foremost is one of the simple thing is functionality check. On check, the smart device can, IoT device can tell me, should I do any replacement of my filters? Should I even need a service in the first place? If it needs, you can see this on-site report service. It already is trying to communicate in backend with the customer service, where it is telling for on-site repair, it charges around 500 rupees. And it is at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, coming Wednesday. And if you see specific filters, if you want to purchase, it says, okay, these are the filters. It is costing around 3,000, and somewhere in Bangalore, you can purchase it. Or this is the rate in Bangalore. And if you want to do on your own, it also gives you tutorials how to do this. And the video tutorials will help you do on your own without needing the on-site report also. So these are different types of services that you can do with a same ecosystem. So the same thing applies to a water purifier. You take it to your washing machine repair, your treadmill repair, anything that you pick smart device, which is of the compatibility of 1+8+N, and one hop is one hop design is already present. So this kind of feature can be enabled. So this is already extensively used in many parts of the world. So it will soon come in our way also. So here, any confusion or anything that you want to know more of this use case, this is a wonderful use case, right? I don't have to think about when my filter will get expired, what I should do after filter expired. I need to contact a dedicated customer line, which I need to again search. There are so many things. If it is a vendor specific appliance, so you need to keep downloading vendor specific application and do the same operation, where each one do the different type of process. Here, all the validation, whether you are a valid user, whether the device is valid, all these things is taken care, like how we saw in the previous slide, in one tap. So the moment you do a tap, all of them will be taken. So this is about this use case, instant service, how we do. And this is interesting thing. If nothing else is there, we'll move to the next one. This is okay?
Wait, what's one hop?
One hop, yeah. One hop is another stack. We will be discussing this more in our framework and architecture design. So where in a single tap, let me go back one slide before. So here, if you see 3 steps in 3 places we saw, right? So one hop means a device is taken and given a one hop or a one tap there to another device. So the pairing of the device will happen. The communication connection between the 2 entities will establish, and the corresponding functionality based on the device is established. In each type of device, different type of functionality can get established. Let us take few examples there. Some of the things just we mentioned were Bluetooth speaker. The moment I do a tap, usually how do you pair a Bluetooth speaker in your homes? You have to on the Bluetooth on your phone. You need to on the Bluetooth on the device that you're pairing. Go to the pairing mode, search the device, and then do the connect. If at all there is a passcode, you enter the passcode and then do the pair. Then the connection get established. So I took so much of time to even explain. So it is a little bit more when we are doing it. So the moment I tap on the NFC, pairing is done. That's the beauty of one hop. One hop is a customized solution, connectivity solution from Huawei. It is used like a hybrid connection where we can connect. It's a multiple layer NFC, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi all cohesively work to do this connection establishment faster. So one hop and 1+8+1 are very key for making this entire Harmony OS work. Apart from that, there is another important architectural design that we will see in a couple of slides again. This now it is okay. You understood what is one hop? Okay. Wilfred, from chats, if you feel anything needs to be discussed or anything on a case by case, you can stop me and we can discuss.
Yeah, sure. But right now we do not have any.
Okay. I'm just telling, if somebody wants to just type and see, that's perfectly fine. Anybody have any more concerns here in this slide?
I just wanted to just ask that if, let's say, as you said that for NFC, we need to tap the device because the pairing happens in a very small distance. So once the pairing happens, the devices can be further apart, right?
NFC is only to pass that initial Bluetooth address to the device for pairing. The moment that information is exchanged between the NFC tag and the device, you can have a communication in Bluetooth or Wi-Fi based on the device.
Okay, thank you.
It's just for information handshake.
It has multiple benefits in NFC. One of the basic thing is storing information. Yes. Then we'll go to the next slide. This is pretty, for me, this is something very useful for many bachelors or on a day-to-day basis you want to do. Now I have some ingredients at home. I want to do some things at home. What are the things I can do? I have a mixer, I have a microwave, but I don't know what to do. I have a fish available. So right now what it can do, the other option of NFC is, this is at the app level integration and furthering the ecosystem in a bigger way, where the moment I tap to a mixer and a microwave oven, so what I get is the information or the services that these devices can provide for me. Maybe my mixer can chop and it can blend, it can do many things for me. So, but I need to prepare and I also have a fish to do. So this ingredient or cooking recipe is given based on the ingredients you have and the items you have available for it. Usually what happens in a regular thing is you watch a YouTube video go back to your home and see, you can't see what is available, right? You have a fish, you know you want to prepare some fish curry or a fish fry, but you need to prepare some marinated. I'm salivating on it. I need to prepare some marination for it, so I need a blender. So I blend something and I do rest of the things. So the recipe gives me all the information based on the information or the equipment I have available. So that's the beauty of the left-hand side thing, where information recipe recommendations are given based on that, and you do certain things. Then comes the much difficult part. Usually, if you see microwave, each microwave has a different type of settings, different wattages, heat, different type of parameters, so many things. What if to prepare this dish, I just tap a button, the phone gives the information to microwave, and everything is taken care on its own. The recipe setting is already taken care. So maybe you need to do a preheat of oven for 2 minutes. Then you can see directly over here, there is a barbecue that needs to be done. Medium heat for 10 minutes and high heat for 1 minute. So imagine the amount of issues that can happen while doing this. So this is where the harmonious thing comes into picture, where all the information for what you need to do is sent to the corresponding device in one tap. You just give that recipe to oven to cook this fish, it will take care of rest. So that is the whole point. This is another beautiful use case in a home solution on a day-to-day basis, which comes into picture. So with what one hop I discussed, is it doable? You guys can imagine this is realistically possible, or this is just imaginative use case.
This is only possible in a custom application and not in. For example, I am checking some recipe in a blog, then I don't think I will be able to perform this one hop like what you say. So
Okay. So here I'm not trying to say our current oven is capable of doing this one, or the current phone that we are owning will do. But this is where we are heading towards, where all our IoT devices are Harmony OS capable, or they are 1+8+N capable. So then we can do this kind of a harmonious operation.
okay.
Right. So this is one good use case that we have. So then we have another use case. I think this is another case many of you might have used. Let us say in a car head unit, you wanted to go from my home to Bangalore, MG Road, or some store in MG Road, basically. So all the way from my home, I would have given MG Road that particular store address. So the moment I reach close to MG Road, it will the phone or the car head unit will say you need to go further. The reason being I cannot go further is I need to do parking, right? I need to park somewhere. So I park my car over there. Then using Harmony OS and one hop configurations. So what we can do is the same navigation can be transferred to my smart band or a smartwatch. So the remaining amount of walk I need to do from the parking lot to the shop, that will be guided with my phone or the smartwatch. So this is another way of seeing a regular use case, where you set a map. I think even though you know different routes to the office or any place, majority of us still put map, because to know where the traffic is less, or which way is the shortest way or the less traffic way. So we use this one on a day-to-day basis, even though we know the routes. So this will help us to the reach to the very last mile and go to the store to the end. So there we have a head unit, smartphone, and a smart watch. Those are speaking to each other to reach you to your destination. So we will see the next one. I think this is another one. I think there is a video attached to this where you can see three things happening. There is a smartphone which is 5G, which will help you to upstream the live devices. Here, instead of using the camera, real-time Ghost 4K is used to capture the streaming. And to see the workout of what is happening, we use a smartwatch. All three of them are working together. Let's see this happen. I think that's it about that video where we could see he's using two cameras and he is using holding one here and another one is on here on his helmet. So he's trying to stream both this live feed from the phone. Whatever is streaming coming to from devices is captured in the phone and it is directly uploaded to the corresponding network where he wants to share. So this is another example that we can see in live use case. So like this, you can see all type of general use cases are put together and these are 7 use cases solutions that are achieved already in using HarmonyOS. So let's see each of them for a little bit of time and let's see what other ideas you guys can get with this kind of a setup. So with the smartphone, you can see most of the services are related to how to make our life easier at home. It can be microwave, it can be a cooker, it can be this is a camera. You can say this is a security camera that might be there. This can be used in front of your house or even to check your kids, if you have small kids, to monitor the kids. There is an air purifier. So these things together can provide n number of solutions that we saw. Another one is a travel assistant. We just now saw this also from car head unit to the smartwatch, how the communication happens. This is another use case where we have a tablet, a smart TV and PC together can help you edit the document. Maybe you're editing in a phone or a tablet or a PC where all this information is shared across using a distributed network and that is shared across, which will help you do collaborative work among the devices. Also, it will help you capture different type of content in different places. Let's say you were in office, you had a phone, you in Notepad, you captured some information or a recording or a camera. You came back to your location, you need to access that information to your PC to edit and make some bombs. So this will help you in doing it. The same thing applies to tablet. A tablet can also be used in multiple ways in that way. And for smart projection, you can use a TV to showcase your work. In a similar way, let's bring into the current scenario. I think majority of us currently are also in the smart education system, whether it can be our kids or you guys who are still on the verge of completing your courses or someone who is attending some trainings are all come under the smartphone, smart education system, where you have a camera to capture the information shared by the person who is giving the training. We have a centralized device that is a smartphone through which all this information can be captured. You have a smart board or a TV where this can be projected and also live streamed. So all these things can be done in one way. The home cinema experience is something that is much great. So you can use the cameras to do the streaming, live broadcasting you can do. Along with this, imagine you also introduce a smart speaker through which the sound is relayed. So all your information of sound from the picture goes to here. The picture goes to the TV. So you get the best of everything from the smartphone ecosystem that is built over here. You can identify the screen on a bigger screen. The the sound bars or Bluetooth speakers can give you enhanced sound system. If you want to broadcast this, you can use your cameras to broadcast the information from the cameras and stream it up. In terms of health system or a fitness and health system, you can see currently we have so many apps that are coming with Bluetooth attached for weighing scale. So you check on the weighing scale to check your BMRs, your body index, your protein levels. That is integrated with the smart apps that can tell you to reach your goal. Maybe you need to lose 10 kilos or you want to build up some more muscle. What you need to do, what kind of exercise you need to do. So that can be achieved using the smartware that is available here. In terms of social networking, you can see multiple of, I think this also you guys have already seen, right? Currently, without stepping out of your home, we are getting our bank cards done, our loans are getting approved. So we are doing our shopping, many things. There is another beautiful use case of when we talk about social interactions and shopping. Suppose you are getting a TV ad, you're trying to see an ad over there on TV, and in your phone, since it is connected, it tries to give you information on the ad that it is coming here, and you can go ahead and even buy that. You don't have to open any app. It just gives you, maybe in the TV it is telling 30% discount. So in your phone also you can see the same discount and immediately buy the product. So that is a kind of social networking and social shopping experience that are available. So these are the solutions that are already happening with the vendors, application developers are all developing. Using this kind, you guys also can come up with some more wonderful ideas. Maybe Monday we can listen to more of these use cases from you guys and discuss more about them. So this is the overall use cases that I wanted to discuss. Then we will see a little bit more about how Harmony is achieving these things. If you see any device here on the left hand side, you can see it has its own screen, network, camera, microphone, CPU, GPU, GPS, NPU. This is a smartphone. If it is a smart screen, you have the corresponding services that are available from hardware. So what happens is it is all as a whole, it will be used in one shot. It cannot be merged. So the moment we call about the device capability pool, you can see we have a pool of screens, we have a pool of cameras, speakers, microphone, and other hardware equipment. And we have a distributed virtual bus through which all this hardware are linked. So we have this pool generated from all these equipments. So now the apps can pick what is the best screen I can display, what is the best camera I can use to get the image from it, and what is the best audio output that I can use through the speakers. So these are some of this is the main difference between a traditional approach of OS and the Harmony approach of making distributed virtual bus and distributed system. So when I say distributed in multiple times from now, maybe now I would like to explain a little bit more. Here you can all see everything is centralized around the same device, right? Here it is distributed across the devices. But still, the app can access all these services that are available and it can communicate between each other. So that's how this pool gets generated and the information exchange happens. So I hope this is the most important slide of all. After this, I think this is where we want to introduce you what is a real capability of Harmony comes in and how we can enhance more applications using these capabilities. So here I'm not trying to show one hop because using one hop only these are all connected to this network. One hop is just a way to communicate and join this distributed system. So any doubts or any concerns on this? So this makes a device a super device. A small device individually cannot perform much, but if you see this, it can do a lot. So do we have any doubts or concerns here, or we will move further? I hope there is no much content or no doubts here, so I will move to the next one. So this is how we call it as a super device. So we have so many hardware ecosystem that are available, where we are, you can see here, these are the 1+8 devices. These are the solutions that we just now discussed. Along with that, some of the key capabilities that we are discussing is one-hop network connection, multi-device interaction, and multi-device collaboration, which we saw in just now, right? How each device we are connecting and interacting through multiple devices. Together, it forms a super device where it can use the services of all this hardware and provide a beautiful ecosystem, beautiful service for the end user. So I think this with this almost I am coming to an end. So this is one small video I'd like to share again. This is where this is your smart home, so you can see how each one gets communicated. I think there is no audio, so this is a more. So this is where what we discussed about microwave oven comes into the picture, how the preheat things will happen. Then on the smartwatch also it shows you the update. So here there is a water purifier. So the moment, these are all generic UI. You don't have a specific UI. You can see there, these are multi-vendors which are already working. There is a coffee machine. There is a smart band. Now we need to make some juice. So the recipe is getting downloaded. How it needs to be done? I think it's a blender. It's a blender. And there is a chimney which needs some service. So we can see each one has a different brand. You can see the brands are different. This is a air purifier. So where you can adjust this one. These are all running on the patented technology where each of these devices communicate on a predefined set of protocols. So where they try to communicate on a predefined actions, and they are certified by HarmonyOS. So these are currently the devices that are already in the ecosystem that are running. So we are extending this to much more vendors. I think that ends my session. So any queries or concerns, or this is just the introduction. Just now we saw the power of HarmonyOS, what it can do, and what are the use cases that we can generate out of it, and what we can achieve in future. I think you in Bright Brains can find out much more scenarios. I think Monday morning we have a session on 1+8+N conducted by Srini. We can discuss more on that one during that day. So you guys can bring in more thought process, and I'll be waiting to see some interesting ideas that will. And thank you all. If any doubts are there, we will discuss. And before that, I would like you guys to start the website, our developer.harmonyos.com. Go to the website, try to start reading the content to understand it better. So the next week will be more of framework architecture and some of the internals of HarmonyOS, how these things work. So it would be great if you guys brush through, and I also talk on that. So our interactions will be better instead of one-way communication. So we will make that as an interactive sessions. And thank you.